All right, so now we're gonna look at the program flow. Just wanna read of this. Oof, I removed that. So C# provides you with if else statement, and there's also a switch statement, which we will do a little bit later on. So these are decision making statements that help you to help you with the program flow or the flow of your C# program based on a logical conditions. Okay, so here we're gonna look at the if else, or is it else if, and the else statement. You can also have the nested else statement, if else statement. We're going to look at that as well. Okay, so now the if statement, let's start with the if statement. It contains a boolean condition, so it's either true or false. So if the condition is met, then normally you want to execute a certain block of code if that condition is true. Okay, or else you've got some sort of a fallback. You use else if the condition is not met. For instance, I can just say, let's say name, string name is Jonathan, and I can say int age is 21. So now I can check if age is greater or equal 21, then Jonathan is an adult. Then I can just write that he's an adult. See, right line, and I can just say name plus is adult. Right. So if that is true, then it's gonna write that. If it's false, then it's not gonna give me anything. So now it says Jonathan is adult because that is true, because age is equals to 21. So it's actually, yeah, it's equals to 21. Okay. So if I change that to 19, which is going to evaluate to false, if I just do that, then it doesn't give me anything. So the else now is a fallback in case the condition is met. So it's like a fallback message. So it's important to always have that. So I can just say else, else, and I can just say console dot write line name plus is still a child. Okay, so this is some sort of a fallback statement here. So if I compile this now, since this evaluates to false, then it tells me that okay, Jonathan is still a child. You see, because it's evaluating to false. So we can also have a nested if where we test multiple conditions. For instance, let's take this again. So I can say, let me just comment this out. So I can come back and say, if age is greater or equal, let's say if age is less or equal to 12, if age is less or equals to 12, then I can say that person is a child. So console dot, I still have this, And then now I can come back and say else if. So now this is a nested if. I'm testing the second condition. Okay, and so now I can say age, if age is greater or equal to 13, and I literally wrote and this is how you write and age. Remember with the and, now let me just explain a little bit. Both conditions, both what's on the left and what's on the right, they must evaluate to true. Okay, so or age is less or equals 19, then I can say this person is a teenager. And we can also say else if. So you see now we're testing multiple conditions. Else if age is greater or equal 21 and age is less or equal, what is the retirement age? 60. On my word, I literally wrote that 60, and we can say console dot write line, and we can just say that name plus is an adult, anything above that. So if is and then we're going to have a fallback finally. So normally the else does not contain any condition. We must check it. It shouldn't contain. It's like a fallback. So if it doesn't find it, then we can have a message and say red line that name plus is too old and crispy. All right, so now it's gonna look at the value of age and try and find the correct one here. So if we compile this, then we see that Jonathan is a teenager. So let's change the age to something else. If we say 22, then we see that Jonathan is an adult. Let's make it 61. 61 is gonna fall back, and then it says Jonathan is too old and crispy. Okay, so that is the nested if statement.